250 plus CRLs across the organization today. We've got a number of black belts. We did that intentionally, right? We didn't only want to demonstrate that we have the knowledge, but that we could actually deliver on those promises to our clients.
Maura Abad here with Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow. And under the umbrella of the Association of Asset Management Professionals, we have the pleasure and honor to have a special guest, Jonathan Guiney. Jonathan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Maura. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Jonathan, I have been so lucky that in 8.8 billion people and counting, you and I have met for over 10 years now. But tell the world, who is Jonathan Guiney?
So Jonathan Guiney is an engineer by trade. I went to Maritime College. I sailed commercially very quickly, and then I started doing a lot of work for the Military SEAL Command in the Navy. And that's where I really kind of broke into reliability and asset management.
I have been diving lately in facility management. And let me tell you, congratulations. Facility management is not just one thing. Tell the world why. Why did you choose facility management?
Yeah, so like I said, I came out of the maritime industry. So, you think about a big ship, it's got propulsion, it's got power generation, it's got house utilities. It's just like a big ship on land, right? So that's kind of the natural, as people come ashore from a seaside career, it's just a natural transition for a lot of people.
And it's really asset management, right?
Absolutely.
So for you, what would you say to a neighbor? What is asset management?
Yeah, for me, it's really a systems approach of how we're going to get to an end state of a piece of equipment, right? Really understanding how do we manage throughout the entire life cycle from, when we talk about inception into bringing a new piece of equipment on site, making sure it's designed the right way, it's installed the right way, it's commissioned the right way. Ultimately, it gets through its maintenance period and its typical operation to a point where we can actually then go through and renew and refresh and ultimately replace that asset.
On the leadership point of view, I've seen your evolution in your company, and
Sure.
I've seen you created so many new leaders. Can you give us a tip of advice on how are you doing that?
Yeah, it's been a journey for us. It's like you said, we met probably 10 years or so ago, and it's been really neat to see kind of how Reliability Web has helped us through that journey. But really, when we talking about the evolution of our reliability program with that JLL, it's finding the right people and making sure that they're fit for purpose for the role that we have, right? So, we started off very small. There was a couple of reliability engineers across the globe. We started to win some business internal to JLL, really supporting these accounts with a reliability solution. And then it was all about finding the right mix of people's experiences, their abilities, their capabilities, how they integrated with the team. Because when you think about broader JLL, we service a lot of different clients with a lot of smaller account teams, where we have a platform that is enabling that on-account distribution. So making sure that these people are going to integrate well with the existing teams there, they understand the clients, their needs, they can talk to and converse with those teams to really drive some of the things that we're trying to move.
I love that. And one of the perspectives that I've seen you growing as a leader and a professional is your delegation skills. Tell us about it, because I've seen how you do it.
Yeah, I think just maybe taking one step back, delegation, I think for anybody can be difficult, right? A lot of times, you're early in your career, you're trying to figure out where you fit, you want to hold on to everything. And I just guess I would say as people grow and mature, as they get further into their careers, delegation is an art, right? And making sure that you can trust your people and you hope that the people that you put in that place that were fit for purpose are able to deliver on the same things that you would. Not necessarily the same way, right? Because the way doesn't really matter. As long as we get to the end state that's better than what it was, that's what we're trying to get to. So, it's been a journey, right? As a young person in my career, it was very difficult for me to let go. It was difficult for me to know that I could do something very quickly and easily, but then push it to somebody else that has the same capabilities, right? So I think a big part is, hiring the right people and trusting them to do the job that you hired them for.
Yeah, and I love what you said about trust, right? And providing that empowerment.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. You have been a great advocate for women in reliability and asset management. Tell us a little bit about what JLL is doing on diversity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a goal of JLLs to be just diverse in whatever genre that is, but it's really important for us to allow people and afford people the opportunities to be successful, right? Man or woman, race or whatever else it may be, it doesn't quite matter, right? Again, we get down to fit for purpose. Does a person have the capabilities? Do they understand the knowledge and content? Can they actually develop and execute? Can they actually deliver on some of the commitments that we made to our clients? We really don't care, right? So I think, as we started to build this team, women in reliability and asset management was very important to us, right? We know that there's a network out there that can help facilitate, foster, and grow, but there's also a huge need within JLL as well.
Something that I also admire about you is your capacity of continuous education, and you are a certified reliability leader. Can you tell the community a little bit about the impact that the certified reliability leader, and then parentheses, he not only is a certified reliability leader, but also a black belt. Tell the world what that means.
Yeah, so obviously CRLs, really important to our community. Certified Reliability Leaders, it's a huge piece for JLL. The Certified Reliability Black Belt, being able to actually demonstrate that you don't just have the knowledge, but you can actually facilitate and execute. So it's been really important for us. And you and I have had this conversation multiple times. We've had it on different streams. I wasn't the biggest proponent of CRO when it first came into JLL. I thought we were okay. I didn't know that we needed, this whole other system and knowledge base that really helped propel us to where we are today. Coming in, sitting through the old workshops down in Fort Myers, whether it was CRL or CMM, were really powerful and moving. I think the most impactful thing for me is just that common language, right? We talk about it all the time, but people that don't understand reliability are kind of lost in some of those conversations. Although the words are similar and used throughout, normal vocabulary, it has a different meaning for us, right? So making sure that we're able to take that information, we're able to get to the next level, it's really been powerful for our organization. But we've gone on campaign, right? We've gone through and we've got 250 plus CRLs across the organization today. We've got a number of black belts. We did that intentionally, right? We didn't only want to demonstrate that we have the knowledge, but that we could actually deliver on those promises to our clients.
By all means, and it is about the language and the context. And in that context of leadership, we want to congratulate you. We understand your organization wins many awards. Tell the world a little bit about that proud moment.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate enough to be recognized multiple times, right? So we won a special recognition award back in 2019. That was kind of our first foray into this. But then again, we have intentionality of everything that we do, right? When Brendan Russ came on to kind of lead the Americas for us, him and I had a long-standing relationship. But one of the things I said, I'm like, well, I want to be on stage every year. And that was very important to us, within the FM community in the industry, to make sure that we were recognized for all the good work that the team's doing. So we won the Reliability Leadership Award 2 years ago. Really fortunate for that. That for me was like the top, right? Best overall is great, but to win the Reliability Leadership Award for me is kind of the game. So last year we won the Reliability Award, Best Reliability Program. So it was really cool, and fortunate enough this year we're going to be up there again today. So.
That is amazing. And congratulations. And that shows leadership and team effort. Now, tell us a little bit about the perspective of JLL and asset management and digitalization.
Yeah, so digitalization is very important for everybody here, but for JLL, we thrive on being a tech company with a real estate problem, right? We have a whole division within our organization called JLL Technologies. They're really helping us to get to that next level. So, a lot of people are still out there, on all these different accounts, working in pen and paper and, leveraging our CMMS in certain aspects, but we've got a large push to truly digitize all of that data. So not only just performing tasks on a PM, but then getting to a standardization on what are the things that I want those guys to report on so that I can throw that into a Tableau dashboard, I get that into another system where we can do data analytics, we can start start visualizing some of the issues. It's really important for us not only to be able to provide the spaces, but also provide the data back to our clients so that they can make really good, informed decisions on their real estate.
And what about sustainability inside JLL? Because with facility management, that's part of it.
Yeah, so sustainability, again, just like JLLT is a huge organization within JLL, we've got a lot of corporate promises out there about driving sustainability and best practices, but also our clients are out there doing the same thing. So we've created an organization called Sustainability Operations that is out there delivering just like our reliability platform is. The nice thing about the current account that I'm working on is that we've integrated all of those practices. So now we talk about operational compliance, reliability, process quality, sustainability, and safety as one sphere, right? So making sure that it's all coming in and it's interconnected. And I think that's kind of the future direction of JLL, but one of the big opportunities that I've recently had was come off the platform and actually go do this and do it really well somewhere to create that example for the rest of JLL.
What is a call to action for people that are still hesitating on the side of digitalization and sustainability?
Just do it. I mean, just stop thinking about it and come up with, really truly understand what you're trying to attain through digitalization. What does your organization really need for that data set? And then making sure that, what you do is fit for purpose to solve that problem. I think that's really, the key, right? I mean, sometimes you just got to stop thinking about it and go do it and, fail fast and recreate and ultimately you'll get to where you want to be.
A strategy and plan, basically.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
And the key performance indicators.
Sure.
Definitely. Tell us a little bit about your experience when you're having a group of people with asset management and without asset management. What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think people that don't come in with a plan, like you said, and have a context around what asset management is, it's a lot of times chaos, right? There's no plan in place. They're totally reactionary. They're working as best as they can and they know how. But it really doesn't go anywhere, right? We continue to sustain at that level or pace. I think when you start talking about reliability and asset management as a system, and we're actually coming out with processes and we're running those processes out, you can see that incremental change ultimately to get to that end goal. And I think, foundationally, the data aspect of it, making sure you understand the systems that you have out there that you're maintaining, making sure that they're in a system, then you're starting to understand what are those things that you want to report on those systems to get to a place where you can truly use that data to enhance that overall process.
I wanted to ask you, as of now, what is the proudest moment of your career?
So I just mentioned, right, the Leadership for Reliability Award was one of the proudest moments I've had. I think the thing that I'm super fortunate to have done was to lead the global reliability team at JLL, but not only lead it for the period of time that I was in, but actually then pass it off to somebody that can make it even better than I had it. So I think that whole time and journey in that position was probably the proudest moment.
Wow, passing the torch and keep it sustainable. What a legacy.
Yeah, and know that it's in good hands, right? Because you hired the right people and they're fit for service to provide that solution. It's been a pretty moving place for me as of recent.
Congratulations. And I know there are many successes to come. So when we will interview you again, we'll have more. We're always talking about the relationship with HR, human resources, or human capital management. In your opinion, how valuable is that connection on reliability and asset management? It's
critical, right? Again, going back to fit for service, we're trying to make sure that we give the people the best opportunity to be successful, and with that they need knowledge and education and experience, making sure that with the trades out there today in the current state, where we have an aging out workforce and not a lot of people coming in, making sure that we get highly qualified people with the right certifications to actually go out and perform that work is critical, right? So we partner a lot with our HR folks and our training and development folks to make sure that, one, we set the job specifications up correctly, we understand the requirements for those jobs, we compensate them fairly for those roles, and then ultimately that as they come on, they're screened, they go through an assessment process for technical training, and then we give them a curated, very specific for them training and upskilling plan. So, making sure that, HR and L&D and, our FMs and the rest of our communities kind of come together to support these people has been, it's really important.
and you are so busy. And with all that, you're also volunteering for the Reliability Leadership Institute. Tell us a little bit about that work.
Yeah, so RLI is awesome. It's always good to converse with your peers out there in the industry. We have some of our direct competitors working within the same forum, so it's really cool to share experiences and kind of how reliability and asset management is very similar but different throughout all these different organizations. So, being able to give back has been something that's also been very important to me. Earlier, I never thought that I would get to this place, but being able to take a little bit of knowledge and pass it on and memorialize it in something has been pretty powerful. So it's great work that the organization does.
And it is. And you mentioned earlier that you made a point in your career. You said, I will be speaking, I'm going to be writing articles. Tell a little bit about that part on the thought leadership for people that might be hesitating. No, maybe I'm not ready to share yet.
Yeah, so it's just a cool thing to do, right? It's nice to share. It's nice to give people different exposure to some of the things that are happening in your world. But if you're thinking about it, again, just do it, right? If you think you have something to share, you probably do, and it brings a different perspective and maybe a different implementation path or whatever the case may be. But just being able to get out there and take that next step is going to be great for anybody's career.
And I will take what you said. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, why not? And we all have something to share. I'm quite sure sometimes you're holding into something, but it will be very useful to someone else. So we want to make that call to action. If you're thinking perhaps to go to present at an event, a conference, a webinar, just go for it. We really, really encourage you to do that. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, and even to get involved with somebody like RLI, where you can be on the periphery. You don't have to be on the main stage or even in a presentation room, but you can write questions, or you can write an article, or you can provide feedback into a larger forum that you can still have that opportunity to.
Yeah, there are always ways. That's by all means. How do you see yourself as Jonathan 5 years from now?
Really?
Yeah.
Hopefully retired.
Really?
Probably not. No, it's been a lot of fun doing what I'm doing now. It's been a great kind of breath of fresh air, different opportunity to kind of be able to go out there and focus on one thing. So I think, making the example, like I said, out of, my current opportunity and making sure that we do things very well and we improve them and we give them, better insight into their data and how they make decisions around, asset renewal and the like. Where do I see it broader than that? I don't know. We'll see how long the timeline is.
And do you also suggest people to volunteer for any activity, even though they're so busy? What would you tell them?
Yeah, there's, as busy as you are, you can find time. People find time to do the things that are important to them outside of work. And I think, being able to find the time in your day-to-day, like, again, getting back to the whole being able to delegate. If there's something that you can give off that opens up a little time, maybe 15, 30 minutes, that's the time to give back, right? A lot of our guys talk about writing things down. Even writing things down and giving them to the next person is along those same lines. So just find the time.
And I like that, the process, procedure, checklist, even with video now, there's so many techniques.
AI, right?
Exactly.
Take 15, 20 lines and run it through AI and then recreate something, use that tool to refine and to get better and then pass it off to somebody that can actually proof and get it to the next level.
I love that. There are no excuses to pass the information along.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. Tell us a little bit about what you see out there with so many places that you visit. What are the most common challenges on asset management?
Starting at the beginning, a lot of people still struggle with getting their assets into a system that they can then do something with. I think there's obviously concerns out there around standardization, right? We come across many different clients that are so disjointed and siloed in their sites that they don't come together and share best practices. So you walk across a site, multiple sites, and you see 30, 40, 50 different iterations of a job plan for the same sort of equipment type, right? So I think getting to a place where people can then standardize and then take that data based off that standardized set and then use that to reinform their plan. Again, getting back to the data piece and using the data and putting it into action, just kind of creating that consistency and exposure to a larger set.
I love it. Every time I interact with you, I learn something new. And as usual, we appreciate you coming here. Now we have that call to action. What would you tell our audience to do immediately regarding asset management?
Yeah, I think it's come up with a plan, right? You know, if you can come up here and take all the knowledge that you've built through your industry experience or through a conference or whatever it may be, just take that and come up with a plan and then work the plan. I think, you know, when people get stagnated or they just don't move the needle, it's because they don't have a plan and it's not actioning that plan. And then, you know, obviously, you know, communication and leadership buy-in is secondary to that, right? Making sure not only do you have a plan that you can easily communicate, but then you can get the leadership to buy off on that. Moving that will help you go far.
We appreciate you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure to see Jonathan's interview and more of these interviews. Follow Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow under the umbrella of the Association of Asset Management Professionals. We will see you fairly soon, and remember to smile. All the best.